Have you ever asked yourself what the 4th of July is really celebrating? Not the fireworks, not the cookouts, something deeper. It's the idea that ordinary people can decide how their lives should be run. Here's the twist. The same idea later gave us something we now barely notice: the weekend. Stay with me as we trace a hidden thread from Independence Day to Labor Day. Two holidays that look far apart, yet guard the same promise. Philadelphia, 1776. Heat presses against the windows. The city hums and waits. There is no internet, no phones. Messages ride on horseback, and hope. 13 colonies ruled from across an ocean. Taxes imposed, laws declared. Decisions made by people who never walked these streets. Inside a crowded hall, delegates argue through the warmth. Jefferson's draft sits on the table. Adams steadies the room. Franklin, with his usual edge, reminds them what unity costs. The question in the air is dangerous and simple. Do we accept the world as it is, or do we start over? On July 4th, they approve a document that isn't a complaint list. It's a mission. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed with unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The words are bold. The country is not there yet. People are enslaved. Most women cannot vote. Property still opens doors that talent can't. And yet, once you declare that rights are unalienable, the circle keeps trying to widen. That pull between promise and practice becomes the engine of the American story. Saying independence is one thing. Winning it is another. Farmers and blacksmiths, printers and shopkeepers, people long on courage and short on supplies, fight a 7-year war for an idea. So when the night explodes with color each 4th of July, it isn't only a show. It's an echo of risk and resolve. A century passes. The country remakes itself. Railroads lace the map. Factories roar. Progress is real, and it demands a price. 12-hour shifts, 6 or 7 days a week. Children in mills, hands caught in machines. No sick leave, no net. If you can't work, someone else will. In the heat and motion, the old question returns. If we are created equal, where is our dignity at work? Workers organize. They hold meetings. They pass pamphlets from hand to hand. They demand something that sounds small and turns out to be huge. An 8-hour day. 8 hours to work. 8 hours to rest. 8 hours for what we will. Time to be human again. The road is rough. In Chicago's Haymarket Square in 1886, a rally for the 8-hour day breaks when a bomb explodes. Shots follow. People die. Fear spreads. The movement stumbles, but it does not stop. It cannot. The demand is human. Time. Then comes 1894, Pullman, Illinois, a company town built for order and profit. Wages fall, rents do not. Anger hardens into action. Rail workers refuse to move trains with Pullman cars attached. The strike spreads, 24 states and more. Commerce slows, tempers rise. Federal troops arrive. Violence claims lives. Afterward, politics meets conscience. To recognize the people who keep the country running and to calm a shaken nation, Congress passes and the president signs a new federal holiday, Labor Day, the first Monday in September. Many states already celebrate it. Washington simply catches up. Labor Day is not a gift. It is a recognition. The wealth of a nation is made by human hands, and human beings need time to live. Weekends, safer workplaces, overtime rules, those didn't float down like confetti. They were argued for, organized for, paid for by people whose names most of us never learned. They stand in faded photographs. Their footsteps still ring in union halls. Place Independence Day next to Labor Day and the outline sharpens. Independence Day opens the door to political freedom, the consent of the governed, the right to change the rules, the courage to take responsibility. Labor Day opens the door to economic dignity, a fair share in what we create, and time enough to have a life beyond the clock. Both doors swing on the same hinge, unalienable rights and human worth. The pursuit of happiness isn't about cheerfulness. It's about building a meaningful life, choosing, resting, hoping, changing. Think of what we celebrate. On the 4th, the sky brightens and the thunder of fireworks reminds us how fragile beginnings are. On Labor Day, parks fill, grills hiss, kids run, and a calendar quietly admits that time belongs to people, not just machines. One holiday marks the decision to be free. The other insists that freedom reach the place where most of life is spent, work. And the story keeps going. The circle widens, unevenly, imperfectly, sometimes painfully. More voices step inside the promise, more hands lifted up. The draft keeps changing because the nation keeps asking, who is included? How do we balance liberty and dignity? How do we carry ideals into everyday life? America wasn't finished in 1776. It was started. Every generation edits the draft. Sometimes the lines improve, sometimes they don't. The work remains. This isn't abstract. It's your alarm and your commute. It's your pay stub and your grocery bill. It's a Saturday with family, a safe Tuesday shift, a Wednesday vote, a Thursday hello to a neighbor. It's the stubborn belief that a promise matters most when we keep it, for ourselves and for each other. We celebrate independence because people risked everything for a voice. We celebrate labor because people risked comfort and livelihood for dignity. Put them together, and you get a sentence that sounds simple and costs a lot. Freedom with time to live. The circle widens when we push. The draft improves when we write. Whether the page is parchment or timesheet, ballot or budget, the truth holds. We all still hold a pen. If this changed how you see these holidays, stay with us. Next time, we'll tell the story of a photograph that made America cry, and the kid who pressed the shutter at the impossible moment. Until then, enjoy your next day of rest. Remember why you have it. And when the sky lights again, listen for the courage beneath the color. This is Authentic American Stories. The story is still being written. The birth of freedom. Have you ever thought about this? America wasn't born just once. It was born twice. The first birth was made of ink and courage, a declaration that changed the world. The second was made of sweat and struggle, a demand for dignity. Two holidays, Independence Day and Labor Day, tell one story. The story of how freedom without fairness is still unfinished business. Every July 4th, the skies erupt in color. Every September, parks fill with laughter. But behind those fireworks and barbecues lies something deeper. Two revolutions separated by a century, united by a single dream, to live free and to live with dignity. Let's go back to Philadelphia, 1776. The air is heavy with heat and history. 13 colonies ruled from across an ocean are restless. They're tired of paying taxes to a king who never sets foot on their soil. Inside a sweltering hall, men debate through the night. Thomas Jefferson's draft sits on the table. John Adams pushes them forward. Benjamin Franklin warns them all. If they don't hang together, they'll hang separately. And on July 4th, they sign not a complaint, but a promise. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Those words are lightning in a bottle. They don't describe the world as it is. They describe the world as it should be. A map for a country still under construction. But freedom wasn't won with paper. It was paid for with years of war. Farmers, printers, and blacksmiths, people long on courage and short on supplies, took on an empire because they believed that an idea could be worth dying for. When fireworks burst across the sky, we're not just seeing colors. We're hearing echoes of risk, of resolve, of the day freedom took its first breath. A century later, America has changed. The land of liberty is now the land of industry. Railroads crisscross the nation. Factories roar through day and night. Progress is real, and it's brutal. The price of progress, 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week, children in mines, men crushed by machines, no weekends, no sick leave, no voice. The pursuit of happiness is clocked in and timed out. And so a new revolution begins, not with muskets, but with meetings. Workers gather in union halls. They print leaflets. They speak in whispers and then in shouts. They demand something that sounds small and turns out to be enormous. 8 hours to work, 8 hours to rest, 8 hours for what we will. Time to be human again. In 1886, in Chicago's Haymarket Square, a peaceful rally turns violent. A bomb explodes. Shots ring out. People die. The newspapers call them radicals. History calls them the reason we have weekends. Then comes 1894. Pullman, Illinois. A company town built for profit, not people. Wages fall. Rents don't. Workers strike, and the strike spreads across states, across railways, across the nation. Trains stop. Soldiers march. Violence claims lives again. But from that blood and silence comes a recognition. Congress passes, and the president signs a new holiday into law, Labor Day. Not a gift, a tribute. A reminder that the wealth of a nation is built by human hands, and human beings need time to live. Independence Day opened the door to political freedom. The right to speak, to vote, to shape your own government. Labor Day opened the door to economic dignity, the right to rest, to earn fairly, to live beyond the clock. Both doors swing on the same hinge, unalienable rights and human worth. The pursuit of happiness was never about endless cheerfulness. It's about the freedom to build a meaningful life, to choose, to rest, to dream, to change. Think about what we celebrate. On the 4th, the sky lights up, reminding us how fragile beginnings are. On Labor Day, parks fill, grills hiss, children laugh, and a nation quietly admits that time belongs to people, not machines. The ongoing story. One holiday marks the decision to be free, the other insists that freedom reach the places where we spend our lives, our work, and the story keeps going. The circle widens, unevenly, imperfectly, painfully, but it widens. More voices step inside the promise. More hands lift it higher. Every generation edits the draft. Sometimes the lines improve, sometimes they don't. But the work remains, because America wasn't finished in 1776. It was started. And whether we write on parchment, on paper, or on screens, the truth still holds. We all still hold a pen. We celebrate independence because people risked everything for a voice. We celebrate labor because people risked comfort and livelihood for dignity. Put them together and you get a sentence that sounds simple and costs a lot. Freedom, with time to live. Today our battles look different. Wages that don't keep up. Jobs replaced by code. A nation that works harder than ever but rests less than it should. The questions remain. Who gets to rest? Who gets to dream? Who still waits for the promise to reach them? When you watch fireworks, remember the risk that made them possible. When you take a day of rest, remember those who fought for it. Because both were earned, this is Authentic American Stories, and the story is still being written.